8 on the road, averaging 66 points a game. Worse than that, though, they're letting up 78 a game. You look at Manhattan at home. Monmouth at home this year, 7-0. Only 7 home games. They scheduled a real tough non-conference schedule. I do believe they have a bunch of home games coming up to end the conference, but they come in at 7-0, outscoring their opponents by 17 points a game on average at home. Last 5 games, offense is clicking every way. They just played, about a month ago now, where Manhattan actually beat them 78-71. So it is a big revenge spot for them. Last year, Manhattan handled them in Monmouth in a high-scoring game. They actually, what have they won? The last 4 or 5? They've won quite a few in a row. 5-0 straight up since '97 against Monmouth. So yeah, we'll see if Monmouth can break the trend here. But here, not only do they try to win for the first time against this team, but now you're going to tell me they got to cover by 15. That's a tough one. Now, I get it. Monmouth's a much better team, an improved team than they were in the past. But they were a much better and improved team a month ago, too, when they went into Manhattan and lost. Manhattan shot the lights out from 3. But, it was a weird one because Monmouth really controlled the boards on them. That didn't matter. The 17 turnovers did. But, Manhattan turned over the ball 11 times too. So both teams shot, over 44%. I just feel like Manhattan has their number. So for me to say, yeah, go ahead and lay the 15 at home with this Monmouth team, I can't tell you to do that. And I know, let me take a look. I know Monmouth's been having trouble covering these big ones. I know recently they haven't against some of the bottom feeders, but there was a time there like against Marist, this of course Manhattan, but Quinnipiac favored by 15, they don't cover. Cornell and Rutgers, they win, don't cover. So I would be careful laying the 15.5 with them. I really would. So that's that one. And then what was the other one? Let's see. I know Jeff asked about one. Cavs don't score in the tourney. Yeah, they don't. Morgan State, Hampton. Okay. What do I got? Hold on, Jeff, because I had something down for that one, but okay, yeah, we'll talk about that. I will say this as we get into that. Let me get the lineup for the Hampton game. Hampton, I believe, is 10-0 ATS. Jesus, since when? I'm not sure, but I know they're 10-0. I don't know if it's at home or what, but there's a pretty strong trend for Hampton. Let me pull it up. 12-2 in the last 3 years. They obviously, they don't have a bunch of games lined. They're 10-1 against conference play. 10-0 actually in their last 10. Not to mention the overs. Big trend towards the over as well. Morgan State comes in, awful team on the road, 1-14, average 62 points a game against the Hampton team, 6-2 at home, 72 points a game. The thing with Hampton, I will tell you this, they're a 10-point favorite, remember that. And yes, they have been winning games, but most of these games have been really close. They don't, the tempo's not high, they don't shoot a great percentage. I want to say like 5 of the last 6, they've shot under 40%, but it's tough to tell. There was no lines on these games, but you look at some of the teams they played. Now, you talk about Morgan State. Only Delaware State's worse in this conference. Right? Excuse me. They played them at the beginning of this year, beginning of January, and they won by 6 in an 86-80 game. Like I said, if you look up and down this Hampton schedule and look at these scores, not very often do they blow people out. I mean, they're capable of doing it, but for the most part, these games are close. I can't pretend to say I know a ton about these guys, but I will say this, that both teams play fairly close games. Now, I do want to look one thing up for you. Hold on. I see there might be an injury, but let's see. No injury. Just, wow. Johnson for Hampton. Jesus, man. He's got a lot of points this year, huh? Jeez. But either way, like I said, the only advantage I see here, edge-wise, maybe, and I don't want to bet against Hampton at Hampton against a team that's 1-14 on the road, but Morgan State has a deeper bench. A better defense, better free throw percentage, right? The rebounding edge goes to Hampton. Points per game and field goal percentage, sure, but not by much in the field goal percentage department. Morgan State, less turnovers, and I'm not going to lay 10 against a team like that, despite how bad Morgan State is, ranked 342nd in offensive field goal percentage. I get it. Maybe the under. What's the total on this game? Let's see. Without guessing, I would need this one to be in the high 130s to even contemplate a realistic. I'm 142. Wow. Yeah, let me write that one down. Hampton under 142. That's probably where I would go with that one, Jeff. Is Hampton under 142. So that'll be that. Yeah, Morgan State's been very competitive in the MEAC. They just can't score. Right, but, I mean, Hampton, yeah, I don't know. From what I look at when I see Hampton, they're not going out there putting up 90 points either, So we shall see, but probably a game I won't get involved with unless if maybe I dig in deeper after the fact. You know what I mean? So we'll see. What else do we got here? Oh, that's NC State. We don't want that. What was the other one someone wanted? Someone wanted me to look at another one. I forget what it was. Let's see. Morgan State. I don't know. All right. So let's get into another one. Where's Morgan State, Jeff? I don't know. I have no idea. I would probably say somewhere in Pennsylvania or something, or Maryland. Where is it? You like Holy Cross? Is that what you just said, against Lehigh? Yeah, it's a lot of points against them, but let's get into some of these other ones. It's like I said, that Oakland game is off the board. Wofford, we could talk about that one. Interesting game. I know there's a lot of people that like this Wofford team, which is weird to me. I don't know why so many people are betting Wichita State today. There must be women's Wichita State. I don't know. I know a lot of people that were liking this Wofford team. 14-13, not too bad. I'll tell you, taking the overs with this team, and I'll get into that because that's what I have written down for this game. Over 145.5. A lot of serious trends with that. Wofford, when playing with one or less days rest, the over's 7-0 this year. Against conference opponents, the over's 11-3. You look at UNC Greensboro against the conference, the over's 10-3. So pretty good trends there. You look at the last time these guys played, 87-76. Total was 132. 6 of 7 in this series have gone under, but looking at those trends with the new rules isn't really there. But you just the fact that they bumped up the total 13 points from where it was a month ago should tell you that. Now, they did both shoot 50%. Greensboro did have a bad 3-point shooting day, but Wofford went 24 of 26 from the line, which is pretty good. They're 75% on the year, but to go that big on that is pretty good. No key injuries to really talk about. I like the over here at the 142. I really do. You look at, where was it? I know they just played the Citadel and almost put up 100, but I think 7 straight games have gone over for them. I'm trying to look at their lowest point total output. It was against Chattanooga. They put up 63, but other than that, I mean, since the start of the month, they're putting in the mid-80s, early 90s. I like the over in this one. I can roll with that. Oh, yeah, that's right. About the Wichita game. That's right, I saw that. Let's see. Next one. I'm all over the place. I always not even wanting to do this show today because there's nothing to talk about. But let's see. Let's get into it. 4-1 with 5 minutes left for the Islanders there, which is pretty good. Let's get into. Oh yeah, that's right. Wichita is playing New Mexico. That's right. Let's get into that one actually. Wichita coming off of a tough loss at home, which I called Saturday, with Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa is finally healthy again. They could finally play as a unit the way they were playing earlier in the year when they had a few good wins. And they get a nice win today. They changed the defense. They go from man-to-man to zone in the same possession, and Wichita had no answer for it. But I would not want to be playing this team coming off of a loss, that's for sure. However, what was I going to say? New Mexico, they're not that bad, really. Not a team that I've really been involved with, but I will say this. Over the last 5 games, the offensive output has been great. Their defense has been stellar. They're outscoring opponents by 22 points a game. And you get a Wichita State team that, if you guys remember, early in the year, and yeah, I know they were a little banged up, but, this squad wasn't looking so hot. Now, I mean, everybody is going to go through it. You're not going to get a college team, unless if you're like a Kentucky stacked team, to be able to go through the season without any issues. You're going to get hiccups. Look at Texas A&M. The issue is when you start losing, you got to learn how to win again. And Texas A&M hasn't figured it out. I don't think that Wichita is going to have this problem. I know Ron Baker is questionable with an illness for this game, which is pretty big. But, coming off of a loss, what did they do? They lost at Illinois State. They come back and they fucking absolutely hammer Drake. You look when they lost to Seton Hall. They come back the next day, 3 days later, at home to Nevada. Absolutely hammer them by close to 30 points, right? And I mean, they lost 3 in a row early before that, but they lose to Tulsa, their first loss. They come back and absolutely wallop a team. So, point being, they can bounce back. They bounce back fairly well. Sorry. I was looking for the last time, but I don't know. But you look at it, like I said, you look at this New Mexico team. I think it's been 10 in a row now since the last loss was at Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is a good team, guys. If you don't know, they are a good team. They lost to Irvine by 2. They lost to Grand Canyon by 4. Those are the last 2 losses. They went to Baylor and played a decent game. They shot 52% against them. They lost, but it's a decent team. I'd be very skeptical taking Wichita minus the 15.5 today. I really would. I know they can blow you out, but honestly, if I'm going to get in on this, I'm going to take New Mexico plus the points. People called me crazy taking Northern Iowa plus the points, but it's a lot of points against a good New Mexico team that's going to be really jacked up for this one. And, the best thing for this league is that Wichita doesn't win it, because Wichita can get in that large bid. So you could get 2 teams from this conference, and there's a couple different conferences that are looking at that same deal where, maybe even Manhattan, if they don't go out, Manhattan, Monmouth, if they don't go out and win their tournament, they could still get in that large bid. But, we shall see. That'll be that. Let me look something up here. Other than that, as far as the games tonight, and I know it's been I can tell it's a very monotone, boring show. I get it, guys, today. Bear with me. Like I said, I wasn't really pumped about it. But you look at the NC State-Virginia game. Like I said, Virginia team total under 70. If anything, I'd lean towards NC State. The 11.5, I'd rather have 12.5, but I'd probably buy the half. But like I said, I don't know. You look at the Oakland-Wright State game, obviously trends towards the over. I lean towards Wright State winning this game, actually, tonight. I think Wright State gets it done in Oakland. Big rivalry against Milwaukee and Green Bay tonight. That should be an interesting one. But as far as like Quinnipiac and those other schools, let's see what we got. I know Jeff's doing a show at 5, I do believe. So I know he might have some info on these other ones. But this one was mainly to get everything out there about what's going on today. Who won the contest and whatnot. I know we got some time, but some days I need a vacation, honestly. It just comes down to that. Sometimes I need a day off as far as, I go and I cap my games. I did it early today, but sometimes, I'm just not that into it. But, like I said, hopefully we can get some winners. As far as the NHL, let's move over to the NHL. How about that? I can talk about that. I can get excited about that, and then we'll recap, because I think I got a game that I didn't mention, actually, the Alcorn State minus 7.5. I actually like that game.